of them. Getting a bit of rubbish packed away. Right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove this because this is not going to be required. This is going to be the MFC upgrade for the fifth wheel. So off with this. Because the optional multifunction control unit has a switch inside the fifth wheel which reduces the power when no trailer is coupled and increases the power when the trailer is coupled. So we're going to take this off. We will be needing some of these option parts. I'm going to move the frame out of the way because we don't need that. And we need to scavenge parts from this, so unfortunately we can't keep this as a spare, but I will keep all my fixing screws just there and take that off. Little E-clip which we can remove. Now that little Tamiya tool, I've been told that you can use to push that E-clip off. Let me have a go. Not working. Not working. No, rubbish. Throw that in the bin because it's rubbish. So I'm going to use a very small flat bladed screwdriver to try and get in one of those grooves. Put my finger over it so it doesn't wing itself halfway across the room, and then take that apart. And there's that little so in the multifunction control box you get these, which are X parts, and this has the new fifth wheel. As you see, that one's got a flat front and that one's got a rounded front. There's 4 different types of Tamiya fifth wheel depending on what options you go for. If you buy the electrical motorized legs, you'll get a different one, but this one is different. I'm going to strip this one down just to show you what that difference is on the underside of these, because remember I said we needed the micro switch to go in there. So now that's all apart, just take that little M2 with its 1.5mm hex drive out of there, and that all comes apart like so. Get rid of this piece. Just basically completely disassemble the stock coupler completely. And last but not least, this countersunk screw. So that is the easy bit done, because now I'm going to remove that from part 3. Get rid of the flash off the side. There's where it's just gone to the thing. So there is the difference on the inside of those fifth wheels. you'll see just here there's a position for the switch. And if I was to line those kingpin positions up just there, you can see that there is slight difference in size, and there's a reason for that. So okay, we need to refer now to the multifunction unit manual, which is this one. We need to get to the section where we look at the assembly of the fifth wheel, which is just there. I'm going to take a snap of that and post it just up there, because this is basically what we're going to be doing. So I'll put those over there, move you into shot, and we'll get the required parts off. Now all the multifunction parts I'm going to put on there, so I don't get them mixed up. So there's the catch for the don't need that bit yet. And we get the file, and we just get these parts, just have a rub round. No, those cutters seem to have done their job well enough. Yep, that's that and that. Yeah, just these parts, just tie them up. Yeah, so they're the ones out of the multifunction kit. What's the difference between the kit one, the stock one, and the one with the multifunction? Well, if I was to put those both on there, you'll see, oh, let me just zoom in, zoomy, because it seems to be better. If see, that one has that little lip there on the, just there on the bit that hooks the trailer kingpin, and this one does not. So they are different. And if we was to put them on top of each other with those holes lined up, we can see that there is quite a difference between them. So we're going to discard this one, the shiny one, out of the kit, and this one is slightly duller, which is going to be out of the multifunction control kit. We don't need this fifth wheel, so all the parts we don't need I'm going to put to one side. So I'll just tidy up some of this rubbish, put my rubbish in the corner so it's not as outstanding. So here's the parts, or the fixings that come with the multifunction unit. Everything that's on this page I will need. This obviously goes through the coupler to make it pivot. We don't need that because in here we do have one. So, and we have the C-clip. You can keep the original, and this is the plate that goes in, which you can see is a lot different. So that one goes with the kit one over there. So referring to this diagram here, which it's not got a section number, but I'll put a picture over here so you can see what's what. The shaded parts on that picture just there is what is in the stock King Hauler kit. So the only shaded part is this bracket. So it's only this piece that you need. The rest of it is not, including that little brass insert and everything. So I'm going to move all of that over here out of the way with this. So, right, let's get down to it. Now this one's orientated this way. So the first thing we do is grab this little coupler hook, and we put those. I'm going to use these from the old one rather than look through, because they are in here, but I'm just going to use the ones that have already been used. So the parts over here are actually brand new. So that M2 1mm screw goes in there, and again, let me zoom down on that section there, and I'll try and keep here, so that just so it still has room to wobble, because I've seen people knit these right down and this doesn't wobble. So if it doesn't wobble, the spring tends to pull in a curve like this when it pivots on its radius. So if you keep it, doesn't matter which way that goes, it will always pull in a straight line. So that's that. And then we need that small, there's no captive nut on this, on the other side there's no captive nut, so we just put that in there. Now the Vera 4mm hex doesn't go over this ball joint, right, doesn't go over it. So we have to use that old faithful box spanner that you get in the Tamiya kit, the truck kit. You don't get this box spanner in the MFC kit. Just nug that in, and that is how that looks. Then we get the right, I don't know what happened there, but the video just stopped, which we're quite trying to keep my eye on one thing and not the other. So all that's happened in that, I'm not going to take it apart and do it again. I'm just going to show you what I've done. Basically, I've fitted this pin here, and with 3 bolts on this coupler, which this hinges on, and these 2 flange nuts just grip onto this plate. And then I've fitted this coupler spring, return spring just here, so when that's like that, so if you tighten this one right up, this spring stays curved, and a curved spring is not very effective. So if this playing it, then this can move and the angle of that spring changes without it being gripped, so that's good. So this piece here now is where we put the coupler switch, which I'm going to put just here, and I'm going to try my damnedest to stay out of your way. So get that up there, because this is fiddly. Let me just zoom out slightly, because this is the switch that we are going to be fitting, okay, and that's what cuts the power. So green and black cable. And what I do with this before I start at the plug end, and you can see that it's twisted, but I'm going to tighten that twist up. I'm going to start from this end and just tighten it up. I will be wrapping this so you can't see it. I don't like to see wires, and my video camera keeps cutting off. I don't know why, so I'm going to keep my eye on it. whilst I do this. And that goes right up to there. So basically the cable is twisted, and that takes all the kinks out. Now I'm just going to pause because I want to find out why my camera keeps stopping. Right, what I've just done is I've deleted a load of video clips that I did for the transmission, which I didn't realise it was still on. So hopefully, I think the memory might have been getting full, so I've just deleted them. Right, let me zoom in on there for you, because I'm going to show you this fiddly bit. Right, I'm going to fit this switch in here, which cuts the power to the motor, reduces the power to the motor, and we need this little spring just here. Let me come over here, let me try and tilt you down a bit, that's it. What else do I need? I need this bit, I need this bit, I need, right, I get my tweezers because I need to get in here and find that little collar just there. That's called the press nut, and I need one of those, which I'll put just there. And a 1.6 10mm screw, which is that one just there. And that should be the parts for this bit. Right, I'm going to keep checking to see if the camera's gone off. So I've just got my tub of grease, because we do need a small dab of that. I want to zoom out a little bit, and I'm going to just get that and just smear it in there. Make sure I work it into those corners a bit more. So the first thing that goes in is this little slider shape with this spring. So with a little smear of grease on there, I'm going to put the spring there, so that grease is just going to hold it in place, because we need to fit that this way around. Let me zoom down so you can see this. Come this way around. So as you can see, that spring fits into there first. And with that back end up, just press that in and it should settle. And then now that will go in there like that. So this here is when the kingpin hits it, it goes to there. Okay, so that is what the mechanism is to enable that kingpin. So now this switch, it goes in this way like this. So if I move that up there, and this, let me put that on the end of my screwdriver, and you can see that collared nut has a slight serrated edge, and that fits in there like so. I'm just slightly out a little bit, and then the coupler switch with this white piece facing forward. I'm just going to put my finger over that hole so it doesn't come off, and this switch, you can see that there are 2 holes in there, and that switch goes in there. There's a hole that goes through the switch that goes in there like that, so you should be able to see daylight through that hole just there, look. And then that will sit so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend these wires, just bend them flat against there like that, there like so. So that's going to make a difference as to how that, so I'll get my very small fine screwdriver, at least get that started, press it all down, that's better. So take a little turn off there, put that insert back in, tighten that in, that's just gone in just up to my finger, tight, and then that one can go in there. And that is in, and that can get nipped up. That one can now get nipped up. And I found in the MFC kit that these, I'm going to put my finger over that captive nut because in the MFC parts bag we get nice black ones, we get black bolts. So what I'm going to do is just remove them. Just pull that back, pull that over there. And this one, stick that one in there. Nip those 3 up, and that looks a lot better. Now can you see inside here, I'm going to move the with my finger here, I'm going to move that out of the way. You see this piece just here, right? This let me try and get some light in there. When the kingpin goes in, it pushes that back, and that activates that switch. So when you come in with your kingpin, it basically pushes in there and then pushes that in, and then that flicks back in there, and that holds your truck together. And you should always make sure that this is free moving. Always make sure that's free moving. So that's that side, and on this side This bit here is the housing where the micro switch is, which plugs into J12. This bit here, the rod goes through and just fits in there. So this is your hook. So when you come in here with that, this slider here, there's that micro switch in there, and that pushes upwards like so, to move out of the, so your kingpin can go in, and that enables that switch, activates that little micro switch. So it is as easy as that. Let me come out a little bit more. So your kingpin comes in here and activates that switch, and unhook, pull the pin, and out it comes. Pretty easy. And then that fits in there. So if you want, get a little bit of lube, put that on there just to give your kingpin something to move around on, because I do find that when you have a kingpin and it gets worn, it gets a little bit rough, it might get a little bit dirty, that when you turn, I'm going to hold that way, I'm going to zoom down a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. When you are turning, the kingpin can just grip on to this. So what happens is it will sometimes just cause that to move, and if you keep turning, the kingpin will actually, I've seen it done a few times, and it's just worth putting just a little bit of loop just here, and it just helps that kingpin to swivel, because it doesn't push that to one side, especially if you're hauling a heavy load. Because if you're hauling a heavy load, you've got a lot of pressure backwards on this kingpin, so there's going to be a lot of pressure on that. So if your kingpin turns this way, you know, with your truck moving around like this, and basically your kingpin could just move enough, only needs to move halfway, just enough to drop your trailer. So yeah, make sure that this spring has got as much tension on it as possible, so it prevents that. And that is the assembly of the MFC enabled fifth wheel. So now that's assembled, I'll put my grease away, move my little minute screwdriver, zoom it out. Don't need these bits, we need this bit because this is the shaded part on the MFC drawing over here. Ooh, very intricate part of the build. I'm just going to get rid of those screws because I don't need them anymore. And in this kit, with the multifunction kit, we get this spring here. Put those just there. So when we put, and remember that this longer part goes towards the back, so it's going to be this way, not towards the open jaw, so that's going to go in this way. And when that's on there like that, I use it from the opposite end of the switch. So push this through. Where's that spring on? It's there, look. Come on, get a grip. Push this screw on the opposite end of the E-clip. So that goes on like so. And then push that through it. In fact, let's go from the other side. And then that goes through. Just get them all lined up. Get that through there. Into. Get them both lined up. And that's through. Put that there. So I'm pressing down on the table with this. Get that small annoying E-clip. Oh my god, here we go. Oh my god, here we go. Right, that's on there. That's on there. Get my needle nose pliers and a thumb over it so it doesn't wing away, and there we go. That is that. And you can see that this spring here, just, you know, you can't because I'm not on camera. So that just fits under there like that. And then we can mount that to this plate. With these two screws underneath. $8mm from the parts bag A, I think. Goes through there, and that one just goes in there. Let me just zoom me out a bit. Oh, nearly tea time. I can feel my stomach starting to rumble. And then just knit those up like so. And that is the MFC option for the fifth wheel. And that is how that goes. Let me have a little close-up run of what is what. See this little spring just here? That little spring just there. That keeps that fifth wheel from staying forward. I believe you do get these small springs in the Euro truck kit, not in the King Hauler. It would be an easy thing, but I suppose they weigh everything. And then I will be wrapping that cable, dropping that through there, and that will be ready to fit to the chassis. The chassis. And you can't see anything. Let's zoom out. And that goes on there. And that's all going to be loomed in. So I'm just going to wrap that wire. Just bear with me. Here we go, we've got that. I'm going to use some braid on this, and this is a really large plug to get this braid over. So there is a little trick. We look at this clip, right? As we look at it like that, I'm going to lift this tab up here, and I'm going to pull out the black, which is on the right. Pull that out, and then the green, which is on the left. These little JST XH, I think they are. I don't know if it's XH or PH. And then push them in the end of the braid. And I'm going to feed that all the way up here into there. Be right back. So as I'm feeding this on, I'm just going to show you how to do this, because this can be really quite tricky. So I'll come over here and get in shot, and basically my wires are down to here. I have removed the small plug, but what you do is you get to where the wire is and you push so that the braid expands, and then with these fingers you pinch and let that go, and then you pinch back here, so basically it expands, and you just go like ½ inch at a time. Some people don't have the patience, and then it's because they don't just push in, because this braiding is designed to contract and be as small as possible, almost like one of those braided phone charger cables, which some people have used for getting to the rear lights. That's very in-depth kind of wiring. So yeah, just keep poking that through and expand it, and then pull, expand it, grip, pull, expand, grip, pull, expand, grip and pull. Simple as that. Right, I'm going to carry on. I'll be back in a second. So now that's in, so we've got a bit of spare wire here, because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to push this JST plug back on, and remember that the black goes to the right. Come on, get in there. There we go. And the green goes in there. Get it the right way around. Can you see what I'm doing? Of course you can't, because I'm off camera. Come on, get it there. There we go, and that's in there. And then we can pull this back. Up the cable and stretch that out. Stretch that out to there. Now let me just grab a zip tie, of which I have plenty. And then with this, to stop it all fraying apart, well, this is going to be hidden inside the truck anyway, is I'm going to put a little zip tie on there. I'm getting hungry. So that goes in there like that. I'm going to leave 1/4 inch of free movement, because that's going to go into the MFC. Tighten that up snippy snips and just zip that off there. Brilliant. So that will fit through the chassis hole. You remember we put that through there. We drilled that that hole. Let me find it. Just there. I can't see it. Ah, there it is. It's easy once you know where it is. Get through that. And that's through that hole in the cross member. You can't see sod all. Oh, I'm going to have to pull that out because I didn't go through there. That needs to go through there. And that needs to go through that hole. And that can go on there. Pull any cable slack through. And that, my friends, is almost done. Too much, 6mm on there because it doesn't need to go all the way through the frame. Absolutely no need. Unless you've stripped a thread, you can put one of the M3 bolts on there. So that is nipped up there, 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 and that's it. That one. And that is that. We now have the option coupler plate, which will be fitting just here. So we need to get the other last remaining servo. Where is that one? Over here. Let me zoom out so you can see what I'm doing. And I'll be fitting with this. Servo plate, and I will get some servo posts. Right then, time has passed. I didn't have any servo posts to mount this servo on here, so what I've gone and done is I've gone and made some of my own, and at the same time I've fitted the servo. It's still a Futaba 3003. I've made a new bracket with some black ball joints on the end. So this one here that is out of the kit, I'm not going to use that. Instead, I'm going to use this on the coupler servo. So I'm going to put that in there, tuck that under there, and then I can put that on there. So that servo will pull the fifth wheel, pull the kingpin, don't need that, and this coupler plate has two hole settings. We need to make sure that these holes here directly behind the tank are clear, so they've got two holes just here. Let me come in and show you. two holes just here. So if we use the rear one just there, because the hole is there on the chassis, if we use that one, that plate covers that hole just there. So we need on this frame to just put it there. Now what I've done just here is I've rummaged through my spares box, and I've found two nice silver screws to go in this aluminium coupler plate, and they just whiz in there. The same on the other side, and when they're both in, just nip them in. Nothing too exciting, and that is, how's that? That's better. So I'll just put some two screws here so this plate doesn't cover this hole and this hole, because that hole holds the rear floor pan down. So that is my automatic coupler plate. I think it looks a little better. Okay everyone, thank you for watching. Little bit of a modification video, that one, but in the next video I will be showing you how to detail the interior just a little bit, just to give it that subtle details that you're not really going to see from afar, but you know it's going to be there. So again, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, leave a comment. What do you do? What have you seen me do? If you find it help, great. Thanks very much. See you in the next one.